So you were talking about, most of your memories that you had remembered were us camping together. But I'd also like to know, what was the first time you met Robert or my dad, or if you can even
Oh, I have
remember
a
that
story
one.
on that one too.
Okay, let's start with that one then.
Are we filming
Yeah,
now?
go ahead.
Okay. Do we want to say happy birthday, Robert? You're gonna edit all of that out, right? Okay. Okay. Happy,
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Robert. 80 years. That's a long time, but we've only known you, what, 56 years? I remember when you first started dating Carolyn, you called and you had a date with her, and I had a date with George. Well, you came to the front door, knocked, I answered the door, and you looked at me and you said, "Are you ready to go?" And I said, "Well, let me get Carolyn." And he's, "Oh, you're not Carolyn?" So he couldn't tell us apart for, and then he learned really fast how to tell us apart. But that made us laugh.
That's pretty good.
We always teased him about that too.
And one of the early memories I have was after Robert and Carolyn had been married, we went to their house for dinner, and it was the first time I ever had lobster. Robert brought lobster for us, and Carolyn cooked it up, and we had a great lobster dinner. My first experience. That was good. I also remember many camping trips. We went on many camping trips, and they were fun because together we learned how to set up camp, put up the tents, build the fire pit, and get everything ready for cooking meals over the open fire. And it was a learning experience for the first few times we went. And then we were experts because we had developed our techniques together. Another one that I remember was many trips from Idaho Falls to Jackson Hole. And it seemed like always Robert was the driver. And one of our traditions was eating pinkins along the way. It's a little round disc of pink candy.
Pink wintergreen
Oh.
candies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's a remembrance that will always stick with me, is those trips to Jackson. Fun times.
Okay.
And hiking from String Lake into Hidden Falls and then back out. We did that. And then we would go see Aunt Lucetta and Uncle Juan. Do you remember hiking?
I don't remember hiking, but we always seemed like every summer we would go over and stay
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys being there
Mhm.
a couple of times at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So those are just some fun memories I have that'll always be with me.
And where was it we went camping and you chopped down the tree in it?
Yellow Jacket Lake.
We were at Yellow Jacket Lake. Eric and Jason were little. I don't even think they were walking yet.
I think they were just barely.
Yellow Jacket Lake, the dirt was black. I have pictures of Eric and Jason, and they rubbed their eyes like this, and they looked like little raccoons. Oh, all kinds of fun things like that happen.
So thank you, Robert, for my first lobster dinner.
And happy birthday again. 80 years. That's a long time.
Yes. Yeah, we went over. I went over to talk to Uncle Ken at the nursery.
Oh, uh-huh.
First day that I went over there to talk to him, I was like, "So my dad's turning 80 this year," and he's like, "80? 80? You can't be 80."
That's not true.
It was so funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he was a year younger, I think, than Dennis.
Yeah, so 41.
Right
Dennis
in-
is 40.
I
Dennis
can't-
born in 1940.
I have no idea. You have to look it up in the book. But anyway, I think Robert was a year younger than Dennis, but it almost seemed like to me that Robert and Tim and Dennis were all in the same
In the same grade.
grade. Yeah. And I don't know how that worked because Clyde turned 80 last year in October. So this year he'll be 81, and him and Dennis were the same age. So, yeah, the cousins are getting old. And right now we only have Aunt Helen and Uncle Conroy
Yeah.
in the old generation. All of the rest of us are the old generation now. That's scary.
When we were this
You
summer-
guys are the next ones.
This summer, when we were over in Casper for Uncle Bill's funeral, Lori and I and Eric and Robert and
Mm-hmm.
all of us were standing around, and Joe were talking, and it's like, and Lori was like, "We're the old generation now.
Yes.
You know, we are that generation because our
Yeah.
kids are the generation that
Uh-huh.
you guys."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
Amazing.
You just don't think about it until all of
No.
a sudden you're 80 and you're that generation that your aunts and uncles you always thought were old.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if you guys were in existence yet, but first time I went to the family picnic with Jeannie, it's up there in Fall Creek, and we were just the young kids. I mean, we had just barely been married, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're the old kids.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. And that's one of the
But it
nice
goes on.
things
Life goes on.
about that DVD that I had done up of the family reunions, that my dad had taken all of those pictures all of those years. Did you guys get one of those?
You did? I don't think I've seen it.
Really? I'll have to make some more. But anyway, he took, because he loved taking pictures, and he had his movie camera and, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. And so he took pictures of the family reunions up at Fall Creek, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. And then he spliced them together, and he had a spool about that big around, you know. And so I took it in over to on First Street, the
Oh, video master. Or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, and had them put it on a disc for me. And then I had a bunch of them made, and I gave them to my cousins, you know, and then the older generation, aunts and uncles that were still around, you know, and stuff. And
Because there were people on those that are just ghosts now.
yeah, yeah, you watch that and you're
You see
watching
a lot
dead
of
people,
people that are
like
gone.
like that movie. You know, I see dead people. You know, and it's so fun because my grandma, in one of my dad's filmings, he turns to her, and she looks at him, and she knows he's taking pictures of her, and she waves, "Hi, Bob." And that was just grandma, you know, and those kind of treasures are just always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mom never ever showed you those.
I may have seen some clips of it.
Yeah, because and we
Well, I
always
don't-
played softball.
Yeah.
That was
Well, I
one of the
remember
things we
playing
did,
ball
and
there.
when we were teenagers, God, I must have been 10, 12 years old, and the other cousins were bigger. They used to have water fights.
I remember some water fights.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like the picnic always ended with a water fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we banned that.
Which I thought was a good thing.
Yes, very much so.
I'm not a confrontational person, and I never did enjoy the water fights. I thought that was
So I just remember
unnecessary.
going to Fall Creek campground, and it seemed like, you know, that was the weekend that school started.
It was
Yeah.
always
And my parent,
Labor
my
Day
mom would
weekend.
always go, and we would buy brand new shoes for school, and we always wore them up there.
Break
and
them
got
in
them all
good.
dirty, and she was
Uh-huh.
always so mad
Uh-huh.
that we wore our brand new shoes.
Well, what happened is my grandma's birthday, I think, is the 2nd of September. And so all of her kids, my mother, your grandma, and all of the aunties decided that they were going to do a picnic for grandma's birthday.
Mm, yeah.
And so that's how that got started. Is we went up to Swan Valley, up to Fall Creek, and we had a big picnic for grandma's birthday. And then it just evolved into every Labor Day weekend. The Sunday of Labor Day weekend was the picnic for grandma's birthday. And it wasn't always on her birthday, but it was the thought of doing that.
And that was the perfect time for everybody. Knew that that was the
Mhm.
weekend to get together.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Very
And-
fun.
Kind of like family dance evolved,
Yeah.
you know. We were up at the picnic. And
So how is your dad doing? We haven't seen him for quite a while.